fine.
Is that
Like
okay?
some
Okay.
yeah, like sometimes if you were to do like a Zoom link or something, it throws it off. Like I don't even like that myself. Like I'm in a studio, so that's why you see these moving parts. But
Yeah.
sometimes when I do a Zoom background or for a Teams meeting or whatever, it's always moving and I always feel awkward. You're natural, you're working, you're in your office, you're fine.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have a standing desk, so I'm standing. Is that gonna be an issue, or would
That's
you prefer that
awesome.
I sit?
No, no, that's good. What
Okay.
can you stand for 30 minutes? That's gonna be the question.
I
It's
mean,
a
I
conditioning
can.
question. Good stuff. I have a standing desk in my office. I'll try to stand for like a half an hour in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, keeps my next addition, once I get used to this, is throwing a little treadmill under there and
Oh
just
my
kind of
God.
walking slow while you know?
Well, we're going to save that for the podcast. What's going to happen next, Andrew, is Bricks is going to put you backstage. I'm going to do an intro and bring you on, and then we are off to the races. We're going to kick some podcast butt. All
Sounds
right.
great.
We got to have some fun. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Brickster, we are ready. Bernardino, we ready? We're framed okay? You good? We're all good. Perfect. Man, you're clear. You got a lot done over there. I ever see all the stuff that you did. Wow. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another exciting episode of Wind Down with Kev. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us on live stream. Thank you for those of you watching on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You are appreciated. Special thanks to all of you that have taken that next step. You've already subscribed to the podcast, you've already hit the notification button. And if not, now is the perfect time to do it. While we're being thankful, thank you to my sponsors. You see them flashing on the screen on the back. Carol Media. If this is the year for you to up your social media game, talk to my friends, my sponsor at Carol Media. And if this is the year that you're looking to digitally engage your agency at the next level, also talk to Canopy Connect. They've got some tools that you can definitely use. Also, big thank you to Wintrust, my bank, my financial partner. Couldn't do it without any of my sponsors, and I definitely couldn't do it without you. So today, thank you for joining us on our journey. 50 podcasts with 50 insurance agents from 50 different states. Today, we are going on a journey to Missouri. We're going to talk to the newest agent that we've had on the podcast thus far. Ladies and gentlemen, podcast community everywhere. She is very new in her journey as an agency owner, not new to Allstate. She's been around for almost 20 years. She knows her stuff, but less than 2 months ago, she took the leap of faith, going from staff to owning and operating her own Allstate agency. So put your warm wind down with Kev hands together and let's give a warm welcome to Andrea Early. Hey, Andrea, how are you?
Hey, Kev, I am well. How are you today?
I am good. I want to correct myself first. Your name is one of those names that can be pronounced two ways. My confidence is going to be shattered unless you tell me, is it Andrea or Andrea?
I love it. And Kev, I was born in Kentucky originally, so we're not that fancy. It's Andrea, but I do love when people call me Andrea because I feel like, I'm elevated or something.
Well, you should, in that case, Andrea for the
There
rest
we
of the
go.
podcast. Andrea, welcome to entrepreneurship. Welcome to entrepreneurship. How has your first month been? Plenty of people listening to this podcast. Maybe they have a business already. Maybe one day they want to launch a business, but what is it like? How are you feeling?
Yeah. Kev, it's all the feelings. Like it feels kind of like a roller coaster. You're up one day, you're down another, you're in the middle, and it's just managing all that. But overarching the excitement is just unlike anything I could have ever expected it to be, and I'm just holding on for the ride.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So you you're new as an owner, but you're almost 20 years in overall insurance and leadership experience. From the outside looking in, it always looks easier when you're in a staff role and supporting agents. What do you wish you knew today that you didn't know 30 days ago? Like, oh my God, I thought this would be different.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge that I've had to step into is really the lead game. So we're balancing being in the community and supporting our community, which is first and foremost. Balancing that with, purchasing leads and getting the phone to ring and, working with different vendors from that perspective. So I wish I probably would have invested a little bit more time in getting to know those opportunities, but we're on it and we're just keep going forward. So
Well, I love what you're doing in the community. We're going to do a deep dive in that conversation in a minute because digitally you're setting the world on fire and your LinkedIn and your Facebook page. I really love what you're talking about, what you're doing, especially in some of the quote for cause space that you're in. But let's start first. I only introduced you as a new agent, but I didn't tell the people about anything about you personally. So introduce yourself to the audience and tell them a little bit about you personally.
yeah, absolutely. So born in Kentucky, moved to St. Louis, the STL baby. Let's go. When I was 4 years old, and have lived here for the majority of my life. So met my husband Jeremy in 2013. We were married in 2015. Took the long trek over to California, and had the pleasure of living right outside of wine country, which was, a rough life. Um, So after traveling there, was then transferred to Colorado at the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, another
Wow.
awful place to live. Um, and then back here at home in the STL. So we have two dogs, Ruby and Basso. They're both German shepherds. So
Nice.
we love our big dogs, and it's just us, and we're living this life and journey together, and grateful for every moment of it.
I love it. I love it. Back in the STL, the show me state. Is
That's
that right?
it.
Is that it? Why do the license plates say show me state? What does that mean?
The show me state. I wish I knew. I wish I knew what the show me state meant, but it's the gateway to the West. So,
Okay.
we have the arch, and that was kind of the hope, and everyone going to the West for the gold rush. You hit St. Louis, you're halfway there.
I love it. I love it. I've driven through the arch. I've seen it. I've been in the beautiful state. I've been in the stadium, Anheuser-Busch, if my memory is
Yes.
correct. I've seen it. Beautiful, lovely red painted throughout the stadium. Great, great area, great part of America. If I was in the STL today and we were doing this podcast in person, where would we be doing it? What would be a great place that we could have lunch in St. Louis today?
Oh yeah, we'd be down in Ballpark Village for sure. So
Okay.
it's a excellent area. A lot of homemade entrepreneurs have businesses in Ballpark Village. Katie's Pasta Pizza is awesome, and it's right next to the stadium. So there is no better fans in baseball, folks, like the Cardinals fans. We love all of you, and we welcome all of you. So it's just a great area to get out, walk around, engage with the community, and have a great lunch.
Now, the other side of Missouri, the Kansas City side, likes to brag that it has the best barbecue in the country. Is that true, or is the barbecue in St. Louis better?
Oh, Kev, we're just gonna let them believe what they want to believe. Bless their hearts. You know what I'm saying? But there is no other barbecue like St. Louis barbecue. And I could name Bogarts, Pappy's, Hendrix. I mean, you just come on out and I'll take you around. You'll never leave. You'll stay.
I love it. I love it. I used to follow a reality show about a soul food restaurant in St. Louis called Sweetie Pies, and I was
Yep.
always impressed with the lines that they had wrapped around. But you did some serious name dropping there. Okay, so we're eating in Ballpark Village. What would we be doing for fun in St. Louis on in early April when we're recording this? Are you guys being impacted? I know there's some tornadoes going through the middle of the country. How are you guys doing today? You guys okay?
Yeah, we're good. We just had a little bit of rain yesterday, but the lower lower eastern part and into Illinois had it pretty rough last night. So we're helping our partners in Illinois. We're also licensed in Illinois, so we have a vested interest for the community there as well. So our hands don't just reach in Missouri, but we do help our friends in Illinois. So we're helping them build back and work through a really difficult time right now.
I love it. Yeah, being in St. Louis, you're very much a border agent. I lived in Illinois for about 9 years, and I know that St. Louis is a stone throw from like East St. Louis, Illinois, and right on the other downstate side. So that is a beautiful place. So, Andrea, tell the people, what do you love about being an all-state agent? Why did you go from the comfortable place of being a staff person to the dark side of owning and operating your own agency?
Absolutely. I think it's just really for the impact. Allstate is a phenomenal company, been around almost 100 years now. And knowing that I have the ability to give back is something, a foundation that we stand on in our agency. And we're always looking to educate and help others. So, with that, I really just wanted to be able to do that on my own, bring in the community here in St. Louis and involve other people along the journey. So, we're not just taking it alone.
I love it. So part of being a new agent is that you're starting new with your own team. What's that experience been like? Hiring people, giving people an opportunity to change their lives with this wonderful opportunity that you've taken advantage of.
Yes, it is thrilling. It's thrilling, and I am a little unique in the industry in that I hired all brand new to insurance. So we're
Nice.
learning from the ground up, and we're building this together, which is awesome. I'm the only scratch agent in Missouri, the only approved contract, so I feel pretty proud of that.
Yes.
And we're going for it, and the education and watching them grow and learn, it brings me back to 2006 when I started in the industry and I used to turn my chair around every 5 seconds. What does this mean? What does that mean? How do I say this? What do I do here? And I get to be a part of that for someone else. And it has changed my life. So to be able to not only reach forward and help clients, but reach back and take people with us has just been phenomenal.
I love this conversation because one, you scratch, and for the audience, explain what that means, that you're starting from zero, no existing customer base. Policy, the first person you write is going to be your first customer. What is that like? But where I really want to go is, how did you find your new people to the industry? Because that's something we all need. We sometimes the insurance industry can be like college sports, like we're just circling and people are going into staff go into the transfer portal and someone else hires them and then they fizzle out. But I love the fact that you started with new people. So tell me about your people. How many did you bring on? What backgrounds did they have? And what's it like training and getting them started?
Yeah, so we currently have 4 agents in the office with us.
Mhm.
One had 2 years experience in the insurance industry, but didn't get licensed until about 18 months in, more of like an administrative role, was
Okay.
doing the back end work for an independent agency and really wanted to get into sales. A perfect example of someone in the wrong agency, but the right position, right? So we
Wow.
brought her in, gave her the confidence to press forward in sales, and she's doing a phenomenal job. Just got a one call close the other day for a
Yes.
client. So we were so excited about that. But just giving somebody the proper tools is so key. Another 9 years of sales experience, was ready to get into something, wanted to do something life changing that gave her a little bit more freedom, out of the retail space, not working weekends and holidays and
Yes.
missing out on family stuff. So she came in and she's absolutely crushing it. Another unique scenario, we have an older agent that decided she has 5 kids.
Yes.
55 years old, she's done raising those babies. So she jumped in here and said, "Hey, I'm ready to get out here and do something fun. I want to help my community." And I said, "Let's go." So we joined hands and she jumped in, got licensed right away, and she's off to the races. So we're super excited about that. Just kind of a bunch of women, which we didn't really intend to do in the beginning, but we're powerful, so we're crushing it out here in the St. Louis area.
I love it. I love the diversity of the backgrounds of the staff that you brought in. really blown away. I coach and encourage a lot of people to hire back to work moms. And I always tell them, it says, no, they have not been working. They've been running a business at home. They're doing the homework. They're, managing a budget. They're running a business at home. They just aren't being comped for it. And once you
Right.
let them go, look out, here mama comes. She's
That's
off to
right.
the races. Uh, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, 90 days from now, she might be your top producer. So here's the question. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I have an agenda, someplace I want to go, but I always hear the question in my head that the audience wants me to ask. People want to know, where did you find these people? Did you find them on Indeed or some other staffing source?
Yeah, so one did come from Indeed, applied for the position. That's the one that was in the industry prior. The other agent that I hired, I actually met out shopping at the mall. She was phenomenal, was really attentive to the needs. It was me and my family shopping and looking for some tennis shoes, and just absolutely knocked it out of the park. And I heard this voice, and it was just like, you need to talk to her. And so I looked at her and I said, "Have you ever thought about being in insurance?" And she said, "No." And I was like, "I believe with the natural abilities that you have and the tools that I can provide, we could give you a pretty solid life." And she said, "Oh, I'll consider it." And sure enough, I gave her my business card. I said, "You call me." And within 24 hours, I had that phone call. She was studying for her PNC exam, got licensed, and started with the agency.
My mouth is wide open. I love
Yeah.
that you did that. I kind of do that with waiters and waitresses. Are we talking about someone working checkout?
No, so she was, in retail as a retail manager. So she was managing, leading, and opening stores across the United States. Had
Wow.
landed in St. Louis, working for this company, and just absolutely blew me away with how personable and genuine she was. You can't teach those skills, right? So when you
No.
see it, you got to call it out.
Yes.
I can teach you insurance. I can teach
Yes.
anybody insurance, but you
Yes.
can't teach that something. And
Yes.
so she had that something. So she joined our team, and we're so excited. And then Sarah, she's my neighbor, Kev. I mean, I didn't even have to go very far. I just went outside and down the street with my glass of wine, and there she was. And we were like, let's do this together. So I mean, if you can raise 5 kids, four boys and one girl. I mean, come on, you could tell you could do
She's
anything.
pretty tough. This
Yeah.
will be this will be a breeze compared to the work she's been doing the last how many of a years that she's been parenting in that way. Well, what a blessing and what an awesome team you've put together. Agents in the Missouri area listening to this, watch out. Somebody's headed to the top of
We're
the
coming.
leaderboard, and her name is Andrea Early. So you better get there early. Andrew, I love your LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn, and anyone listening, go to her LinkedIn profile, Andrea Early. You have quite a background. I have looked at hundreds of social media pages, different platforms, but I love what you have there. Fuel your passion, followed by your description, entrepreneur, encourager, process driven results. Break that down for us and tell me what you were describing there. Those are bold words. Are those pretty descriptive of who you are?
Yes, absolutely. I think you have to live into what your calling is, what you're passionate about, be diligent and look and listen for that. What lights you up?
Yes.
When things are hard, what lights you up? And with that, it's a little bit of a formula, right? So we can seek something, and then we can kind of get frozen
Hmm.
and we don't proceed forward. So we need to make sure we have a process in place, tools in
Yes.
place that
Yes.
can propel us forward in that passion. So to be able to do that, you as a leader, you have to call that out in people. A perfect example is Sybil, who works with us, calling out that greatness, building that confidence, coaching and developing, and then giving the right tools. Tools I use synonymous with process, right? A process is a tool. So we couple that with the drive and the personality and the willingness to learn and grow and be coachable, and then you're just unstoppable at that point.
I love how you said that, and I just circled on your the things I grabbed from LinkedIn. There's a part of your background, in addition to your insurance experience, where you did coaching and mentoring skills for leadership success, coaching and mentorship skills for leadership success. Talk about that. Talk about how you did it, where you undertook it, and how that's coming into play now that you're hiring and coaching and looking for the greatness in your own people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everything just starts from the beginning, and making sure that you're aware of the capabilities that you have. We're all leaders in our own right. So, getting the education for that was something that I just sought out professionally for myself and personally. I think we go on a journey when we get a little bit older. We're looking back, we're looking at, okay, how can I make these adjustments? What can I do a little bit differently in my life? How can I help others from the things that I've learned and the hard lessons that I've learned. So really just staying in that space of learning to educate yourself. So with that development, it was a course that was an online course I took, and really allowed me to slow down and see people for exactly who they are, humans. I
Yes.
think a big mistake that we make, I'll lump myself in there. A big mistake we make as agents is we see people as dollar signs, and I think when you start to do that, you start to lose sight of what it is
Yeah.
that your mission was to begin with.
Yes.
So just going back to the basic and seeing people for who they are, which are human beings.
No, I love it. Fast forward, you did that for your own development. How has that played into you being a leader? First, recruiting, secondly, onboarding and getting off to a good start. How do you think that training that you initiated yourself, how do you think that's helped you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from the recruiting space, it can be hard to interview, right? Or maybe you don't know who's on the other side of that
Mhm.
interview that you're with. So maybe you're the 50th interview, maybe you're the first interview, maybe they've had a bad experience. And so really just creating a space to be comfortable to have a conversation. I think the biggest thing I learned in my leadership journey is, yes, the questions are important when you say, oh, tell me about a time when this was difficult. But really, I'm all about getting to know the person. So I want to know what makes you tick, what excites you, what is it that you want to do. If money and time and there was no constraints, what does
Right,
that life look like?
right,
And then I can tell instantly, is this something that I can partner with and help, or do they think too small? Or do they just need to be encouraged? Yeah, and so really getting to know the mindset, and the person individually, in that coaching and developing that I did for myself, really allowed me to do that with the team, while I was hiring, and I knew exactly what I needed to look for.
I love it. You unpack some stuff. Let's talk about St. Louis, smack in the middle of the country, gateway to the West Coast. Um, Talk about some of the natural disaster risks that are there in St. Louis, and what are the key coverages that you want to make sure if someone's buying a house or living in STL? What are the key coverages that you make sure they have to make sure they're well protected?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the Midwest, we always say if you don't like the weather, hang out 5 minutes, it'll change.
Yes.
We've had 80 degrees, we've had 35 degrees, we get tornadoes, we get floods, we get all kinds of stuff. I mean, I remember being a little kid back in the flood of 93, and
Wow.
all of Chesterfield Valley, which those of you who are local, you know what I'm talking about. Chesterfield, Missouri was just underwater, and
Wow.
now all the levees and everything that have been put up, I mean, it's the thriving area. So just making sure, you brought up a great point, Kevin, just making sure that they have the right coverages. We're also not far from the fault line. So earthquake
Okay.
is something that, it can be prevalent here. So making sure you're having those conversations, talking about earthquake, the options we have there, talking about your deductible. Wind and hail is something number one loss in the state of Missouri. So
Wow.
what does that look like? Are you 1%? Are you $10,000? Understanding the coverage. You have full replacement on your roof because, Kev, it ain't lasting long here in Missouri. I'm telling
No,
you, that roof,
no.
you're going to replace it at least once if you live somewhere, less than 10 years. So just knowing those and really go diving in and personalizing the coverages is what we excel at here.
I'm looking and listening to you rattle the coverages off. If you're listening to this podcast, she has no paper, no cheat notes in front of her. She knows her stuff. She's doing it from the heart. So if you're in the STL, looking for insurance have the highest confidence that Andrea and her team are awesome. Andrea, talk to me. Obviously, your agency is new, but over your many years of experience, do you have a claim story where maybe you felt really good because although a family went through something, you had sold them the right coverage and were able to put their lives back together?
Oh, absolutely. When I first started in the industry, one thing that we always talk about, people get into the property and casualty or the home and auto aspect of it. And it's always great to have those conversations. But once we talk about those wheels and walls, Kev, we're talking about life. The only guarantee we have is that we're gonna die. And what
Yes.
does that look like? What does that look like for your family as a legacy, what you want? And we talk about that a lot. So I had a family that came to me for insurance. We talked about the wheels and walls. I talked about the life insurance. Oh, we have it at work. You know the story. It's
Yes.
fine, no big deal. Okay, well, I understand, but if anything were to happen and you were to leave, it's likely non-transferable. So
Yeah.
what we really want to do is ensure that we're protecting the future of your family. Heaven forbid something happen.
Yes.
And they fought me for a little bit. And then about 2 months later, they called and they said, "Okay, I think we're ready to have that conversation." So we talked a little bit more about it. Unfortunately, about a year and a half after that, the husband had passed away. It was a fatal auto accident, not his
Oh my
fault. The wife was pregnant, had 3 kids already, and because of that life insurance policy, she was able to stay in her house. Um, it was a very hard. I'm getting emotional. I haven't thought of this in
God.
a
Well,
while.
I mean,
It
I
was
am
very hard.
no, I can only imagine, but thank God for you for having the hard conversation. Um, I've been using these words lately, not my words. I got them from someone else, but it said that we should say the thing that we're afraid to say. So although they
Yes.
had given you some pushback, they said no a few times. The inner voice in you said to stay persistent, and thank God you did. That family was able to stay in their home.
Yeah, it's just that little nudge sometimes that we always push away, but I would just encourage anybody when you get that nudge, just do it. What's the worst that could happen? You hear no,
Yeah.
you know? At least you had the conversation and you never know what could take place in between that. So you just got to go for it.
Andrew, in this short time, you've talked about being near the fault line, floods, tornadoes. Obviously, the Mississippi River is right there running through. Um, you have clearly established the value of a local agent. What would you say to anyone that just has a price based mindset? I want to go online, I want to call an 800 number. I'm not interested in those things. What would you say is the value of a local agent, not just yours, but in general, this thing that we do um, and helping people with recovery plans? What would you say is the value of a local agent?
Yeah, I mean, really, the list would be shorter of what isn't. I mean, it's just wild. I mean, even going from not only making sure you have the proper protection, that you're not leaving yourself exposed, but also to make sure that when you do have a loss, because it's not if, it's when. You know what I'm saying? If
Yes.
we had an
Yes.
accident and we knew when it was going to happen, we just say, okay, well, I'm just going to stay home today. That's why we call it an accident, right?
Yes.
So making sure that you have someone there for you when you do need to file a claim, because sometimes it may not be advantageous to the policy to file the loss. And when you call and you get to speak to a direct agent, we can have that conversation and help you make that decision. What I find with other companies or 800 numbers is just that you're just a number to them. You call, you ask a question, they open a claim. It may not be paid out, but guess what? That's stuck with you for 5 years.
Yes.
So in some states, even longer. So really just having that local presence, someone that knows you, knows the area, will get you connected with the Good Hands Network to make sure that all or any of the work that needs to be completed is with a reliable and reputable company.
Yes.
In Missouri, we get storm chasers. They come in, they knock on your door, they convince you to do business with them, and boom, they're gone. And I can tell you from experience that it usually doesn't lend well for the client. So, not only that, but just having a network and connection there, and knowing that we care. I mean, genuinely, we are here for you. We want to know about when your child's born, when you're celebrating birthdays, when they graduate from high school. Like those are monumental moments in life change, and we want to be a part of that with you. So,
It definitely sounds like you're building relationships and not just completing transactions.
no, nope, not here, not at Early Edge.
Early edge. I love it. Well, there's an early edge to the early edge insurance agency. One of the things that I like is that you're leading with giving. You're a scratch agent, you're just starting your business, but you're coming in with your eyes and your heart wide open. You're involved with Lucky Chance Rescue. You're partnering with this month, you're partnering with the Seat at the Table. Talk about those charities and what they mean to you and what you're doing currently in terms of giving back.
Absolutely. So, Lucky Chance Rescue is a local rescue here in Lake St. Louis, Missouri. And we got our little girl, Ruby, from there. We adopted her. She's a full bred
Nice.
German Shepherd, was tossed to the side of the road, and I scooped them up. I'd scoop them all up, Kev, if I could, really. But my husband puts a cap on that. But but we just love what they're doing. It's a full foster based organization. So it's all people just like me and you that are saying, "Hey, I got an extra bed I can put a dog in, or I have extra space, and we'll take them in." And they really just work off the love and generosity of others. So we wanted to come in and really help them out. And what better way to do that than to make sure all those foster mamas and daddies are properly covered and have the right liability as they accept in those foster dogs. So we had an awesome opportunity with them. And then Early Edge doubled that donation at the end of the month, and presented them with a check. So we felt so good about that. And this month, the Seat at the Table, very near and dear to my heart. They really support that 18 to 25-year-old life that didn't get a very good start. So whether that was due to alcohol and drug addiction of their parents, or lack of fatherhood, or just not in a good area, or didn't have that hard support, but they're resilient, right? And so we want to make sure through a Seat at the Table that they get that solid opportunity. They're in college, they're learning those soft skills of life, and they get an opportunity to grow. And it's a faith based organization, which is something that is also very important to me. And we're excited to launch with them. We just started this month. And again, at the end of the month, we're going to double those donations from Early Edge Insurance, and we'll present them with the opportunity to continue to help others.
I love it. So, for people that are listening and didn't have a chance to read it like me, talk to me about how this give back works. If they come to your agency for a quote, the agency will donate.
Yeah, so if you reach out to our agency during the month of our what the organization we're assisting, we do a $10 donation per quote, and then at the end of the month we double that as an organization. So people who are just looking for coverage reviews, looking for opportunities to change, you never need to wait. You always get a full refund from your previous company, so no need to look at those renewals. Just give us a call, and we can give you a nice little health check, and help a great organization in the process. No obligation.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Andrew, during these podcasts, the one common theme that has been resounded with agents I've talked to is two things: generosity and spirituality. And both of these things are coming through loud and clear. And I love that you're just starting your business, but at the same time, you're not thinking about yourself. You're thinking, what can we do for our furry friends? What can we do to people whose life got off to a difficult start? Because I find that when you, no matter what you're going through, when you help others, it just makes all the other doors to the church open up and life works out pretty good for you. So, for anyone listening wants to be a part of your team, how hard is it to get a license to get into the insurance business? And are you still looking for awesome people?
Yeah, so it's super easy to get involved. We help walk you through every step. So It's always great to get your studies from a reliable source. I personally am a fan of AD Banker. I think they do a phenomenal job getting people prepped for the exam. Then we provide the website and the information that you need to schedule that exam. Once you've passed, we celebrate you and you're welcome into the agency to start day one, and then we're off to the races. So it's a very easy process. We make it easy because we have a starter kit for you already set up. So all you have to do is just show up and do the work. And we're always hiring. Are you kidding me? Come one,
What
come all.
what an amazing answer. Who wants a job where they're celebrated, not tolerated? It's completely different. And you've got a starter kit and you're ready to go. What does being celebrated when you start? What does that look like? How does that manifest? This what does Monday morning look like being celebrated in your agency? Whenever, however you celebrate people.
Yeah, so day one, you come in, you have a clean, organized, ready to go workspace, two monitors, a laptop, all the pens and pencils and colors and highlighters that your little heart could desire. We do a huge balloon set, so you have your star balloons that are all blue and white. We have custom cups that we make for you, your notebooks, so you're ready to take notes and you're ready to learn and grow. And just the music is on, we're dancing in the hallways, and then we just go for it. I mean, culture is everything. And I've created a space that I want to show up to every day, and that always is going to end in fun. That's it, period.
I I love it. You've created a clear visual. Please add sound. What's on the playlist? What are we jamming to in your agency? What's on the playlist?
Woo, Kevin. Okay, so here's a little bit more than you may not want to know about me. I love rap and I love
Okay.
Christian music. So I'm like 50% hood, 50% holy. But I'm 100% in love with just living a good life and having fun. So it's gonna vary, but we try to keep it clean. So celebrate good times. We got that. We got Beyonce in the mix because we're all queens here, and a little bit of Aretha Franklin. So we go a little back old school. So we're all over the place. Anything that has a beat that doesn't cuss, I'm good with.
I, you and I have a similar taste in a God fearing man who also loves hip hop music. You're in St. Louis, so I imagine Nelly gets a
Nelly.
little. It's getting hot in here.
It's getting hot
So,
in here. I am number one. I mean, we accept it and receive it. And I'm waiting for Nelly to come in. I know his mama lives not far from here. So Nelly, if you hear this, Early Edge Insurance is ready for you. Let's go.
oh my God, oh my God! Please tag me when you post that. Let's speak
I
it into
will.
existence.
We
Let it
are.
manifest itself. Nellie's mom, if you're listening, come to the Early Edge Agency. Let's do some good in the hood and the community together. I
That's
love
right.
it. Andrew, you have established that Early Edge is the insurance agency for the STL. You've established yourself as a hard worker and a giver and a leader. How do you wind down at the end of the day? How do you decompress?
Yes. In my pajamas on my couch, covered up with my pups and my husband, either sharing a glass of wine or having a Manhattan, talking
Oh, I
about the day.
love it. I love it. I love it. Definitely a great way to wind down at the end of the day. Andrew, is there anything you want to share with the audience that I didn't ask you? When you hang up, you're going to be like, I wish Kevin would have asked me this, or I should have said that. What are those thoughts that you have before we begin to wrap up?
Yeah, so the only thought I would have is just to encourage others, for everyone listening, um, your story is not done. If you are up, if you are walking, if you are breathing, if you are going, your story is not done. Please, please find a mentor, find somebody that's going to champion you along this way in this journey in life. And don't forget to continuously check behind you as you're walking forward, because we all need each other. At the end of the day, true transformation happens in the context of community. So get in that community and keep going. I'm here cheering you on every step of the way.
I feel encouraged. My goodness, Andrew, those are powerful words. I spend all day pouring into others, but sometimes my cup is empty. You just filled me right back up. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. I know what it's like to be new. I know how many plates you have spinning. Phones are ringing, people are coming, and you're literally at your stand up desk. So I appreciate you so much. You were an amazing guest. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate the opportunity, and it's been such a delight to be here. Thanks.
You are welcome. And thank you to everybody out there who took time out of their day today to listen to this podcast. Thank you again to my sponsors, Canopy Connect, Carol Media. If you need help in the digital social media space, please reach out to them both. You will thank me later. Thank you to everyone that has subscribed already. And if you haven't, if you listen to this awesome content, you know what to do. Click the subscribe and notification button. Lastly, thank you to our phenomenal guest, straight out of the STL, Andrea Early, founder, new CEO of Early Edge Insurance. Let's go.
Let's go.